Children are meant to be the picture of innocence. Unmarred by the cruelties of life, we're used to seeing them being sweet, silly and adorable. We feel a natural instinct to protect children, which is why it can be so chilling when a child turns on us or each other. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more. FactV presents 5 of the creepiest killer kids the world has ever known. Number 5. Graham Young. Poison is usually attributed to being a woman's choice of murder tool, but a young murderer, Graham Young, had a method down to a science. Known as the teacup poisoner, Young developed a fascination with toxic substances early in life and would test them on his family, making them violently ill. In February of 1962, when Young was only 14, his stepmother began to feel ill and even hallucinated while on the train. It was found that she had been slipped the deadly poison belladonna. By April of the same year, she was dead. Young was immediately considered a suspect and sent to Broadmoor Hospital until 1970, when he convinced the doctors that he had been cured. The doctors should have been more careful because shortly after his release, Young went on a rampage, poisoning 70 people, 2 of whom died. He was imprisoned until the age of 42, when he allegedly took his own life through the means that had made him famous. Number 4. Jesse Pomeroy. A record maker when it came to murder, Jesse Pomeroy was only 11 in 1871 when he was convicted of first-degree murder and named the youngest offender in the history of Massachusetts. Pomeroy got an early start, molesting and torturing younger boys, using pins and knives to attack them. The viciousness of these attacks left some of the victims permanently scarred. Pomeroy was eventually arrested and sent to a reform school, but was let out on good behavior after a year and a half, after which the attacks turned even more brutal. At the age of 14, Pomeroy murdered and mutilated 10-year-old Katie Curran, who had wandered into his mother's dress shop. He carelessly concealed her body in the basement under an ash heap. Shortly afterwards, he murdered a 4-year-old boy with such a violence that the child's head was almost decapitated. Pomeroy was sentenced to death by hanging before it was altered to life in prison and solitary confinement. Number 3. Eric Smith. Diagnosed with intermittent explosive disorder, 13-year-old Eric Smith was known to act out violently and unpredictably throughout his childhood. Regularly bullied for his red hair, low-set ears and thick glasses, Smith was filling up with rage, only for it to unleash itself on 4-year-old Derek Robbie. In August of 1993, Smith was riding his bike home when he lured Derek into the woods nearby. There, he strangled him and dropped a large rock on his head. By all accounts, Derek was random for Smith, an easy and innocent target to focus his rage on. After committing the murder, Smith reportedly told his father that he felt better now. Convicted of second-degree murder, Smith was given the maximum sentence of 9 years to life in prison. Number 2. Peter Woodcock. Peter Woodcock had a tough childhood. From infancy, he was shuttled to numerous foster homes and was already displaying signs of severe emotional trauma at the tender age of 3, when he was placed in a permanent foster home. Physically abused and regularly terrified, Woodcock was bullied at school and often acted out. He also hated other children. Soon, he started murdering them. From 1956 to 1957, Woodcock claimed 3 victims, 2 boys aged 7 and 9 and 1 girl aged 4. Later, in 1991, after he had been imprisoned, Woodcock just let a day pass and then promptly killed again. He died in 2010 and was described by the Toronto Star as the serial killer they couldn't cure. Number 1. Mary Bell. The most chilling thing about 11-year-old murderer Mary Bell wasn't her young age. It was the fact that, when killed her 4-year-old victim, she said she committed the killing solely for the pleasure and excitement. This wasn't Bell's only murder. At the age of 13, she, along with friend Norma Joyce Bell, strangled a 3-year-old. with Belle returning later to the scene of the crime to carve a letter M into her victim's stomach. Convicted of manslaughter on the grounds of diminished responsibility owing to her age, Belle served 12 years and was released in 1980 under a new name.